have a confession. The reason why there's no genuine reaction to the next prompt is because I accidentally saw it when I did the last one. When I opened the page to zombie, it was in the corner of my eye, and also when I was editing the video, I could see it in the video, so I already knew it was sandcastle last week. I'm going to try to fix this in the future by putting a post-it note over the prompts on the right side page. That way I won't accidentally see it, and I'll do this by squinting my eyes and doing it. You'll just have to trust me, I guess. So on to the prompt. I was dreading it because sand is hard to draw. You start putting those little dots in it and it just looks like a children's illustration from a kindergarten, and I don't know, it's hard to get texture, especially in a simple style like mine, but I think it turned out okay, but I think it still needs some work. I started off by sketching some sandcastles, and then suddenly the idea hit me. I wanted to have a girl stomping on a sandcastle, but I also wanted to reenact sort of a Rapunzel scene with some crabs, so that's where I got the idea, just out of nowhere, suddenly, which I'm very happy with because even though I kind of had all weekend to think about what I wanted to do, I didn't think about it because I didn't want to because I was dreading it. So I guess it's still kind of legit? I don't know. Either way, this is the idea I came up with. Pretty happy with it. I did a few alternative crab positions there, though I think I really liked my initial sketch so much that I was just kind of sold on it right away. So this full page is kind of barren. I kind of meant to do a background on this illustration because I figured why not keep pushing myself. I think drawing oceans is one of the harder backgrounds because it turns out kind of flat, and it's just this blue to yellow sort of awkward flatness that is really hard to show depth in because it's the ocean and it's flat. So I kind of meant to push myself and do that, but in the end the illustration was kind of small and it was shoved on this 5x7, which I really like to work smaller. I think it just makes sense. Especially when I'm doing a lot of these projects, if I use big pieces of paper, then I'm gonna go through a lot of paper. And I like to work small because I find it easier, there's less pressure, I don't have to use as much watercolor, there's not huge chunks to color in at one time. Yeah, that's my excuse, I'm sticking to it. So yeah, I didn't do a beach background because it felt like it was really crowded, so I decided to go with a silhouette-y type sky situation, which I suppose you will see later. I penciled it in, but I didn't ink it because I wanted it to be like a lineless style. So I penciled it, and then later I will paint around it. For now, I'm inking. And what I meant to do while inking the sand but forgot was to kind of do a dotted line around the sand to make it look like it's sand, I suppose. But I kind of forgot through the first like 3/4 of inking the sand, but then I kind of did it on the tower part, you can kind of see. It would have added, I think, a lot more detail and texture to it, but oh well. What can I do? So here I am painting in the sky. I really like to do these lineless bits, even though it's very small, because I really do miss doing lineless illustration, and I really should push myself to do a lineless piece one day in these prompts, but for now, I just do a sky. And I thought it would be best if it kind of faded to white, just because making it solid kind of was boring, and I just wanted to add just a little bit of depth to it, so I figured why not a gradient? It would add a little bit more interest to the illustration. Ah yes, the sunburn, my favorite. I have done one other watercolor sunburn situation, and I love the way it looks. I don't know why. I think it probably comes back to the lineless situation. It just looks really cool where you have this light color and then suddenly it's a lot darker and there's no lines, and I think it looks really cool. And I think I just really like sunburns because I'm a victim to them. Every time I go to the beach, I end up getting sunburned so bad. And I know it's not realistic because she's a redhead and she needs to be pink. I mean like red. I should have made her as red as a lobster's, but I'm always too scared to make people look like burn victims when I do this, so a tan as far as I went this time. I wanted to make her hair orange because I figured it would look really nice complementing the sky right next to it. So I made her have orange hair, and I think it was not a bad decision. There's a lot of bright colors in this illustration, which I really like. It's a lot different from my first one where I kind of focused on purples and greens, which kind of set a mystical, magical, I don't know, fantasy theme to it, I think. Whereas the yellows and the blues and the bright reds, I think they'd go really well with doing a beach scene because it's the summer and it's warm. It's bright and colorful. It's the beach. Duh. Who doesn't love the beach? You don't? Well, I'm not talking to you, so just ignore this. If you can't tell, the crab in the tower is wearing a shell with seaweed coming off of it, like one of those princessy hats. Oh gosh, I should probably Google it. Hold on. Okay, I googled princess hat and it pretty much was like, yeah, princess hat. But then I found it's called a hennin. So today I learned. So it's one of those cone princess hat things with the little wavy bit of material on the top. At first I was gonna make it like Rapunzel and have seaweed hair, but it just kind of got in the way and I decided to use the seaweed to fill in the space in the sky there a little bit, and I think it worked. It's kind of cute. So with the sand, I just kind of wanted the foreground to just kind of fade away since I wasn't actually doing a background or anything. So I layered the sand color and just had it fade towards the foreground and just had it darker closer to the castle, and then it just got lighter as it went away. I tried to do a little bit of shading in the sand just to give it a little more depth and a lot of texture. This is the same technique I used when I painted the horse zombie. I just kind of watered down the color and layered it a lot and used darker bits in the places where I thought it needed shadow and just kept dabbing my brush all over it and adding texture. I don't think it looks too bad, but I think I do need to work on my sand because it's not the best. But I'm still happy with the results, so yahoo! I added some chunks of sand behind her feet just to maybe add some action, because when you're stomping on sand, there's going to be a little bit flying up, so I thought that kind of worked a little bit. It's just a little extra detail in there, I guess. I need to work on adding small details because I need to. Now I'm just cleaning up the pencil work a bit and adding a few more details because I thought it looked a little too flat. And like I said, I'm trying to work on adding just a little bit more detail to it because as much as I do like my flat style, I think it would be nice to add like a lot of extra little details in some parts, so I put some hair texture in there. And then I went in and did a few dots in the sand, and it doesn't look the best. It's pretty whatever, but ah well. And to fill up space in the sky, it's my classic add some birds, because I suck. So yeah, here is the finished piece. I really like the way it turned out, nice and bright and colorful. So comment down below if you guys like to go to the beach, and if you like to build sandcastles. Alright, see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.